Hi everyone, Darren at Leviathan Financial Management with your weekly series market report. So the markets loved what Jerome Powell, their chairman, had to say after the Fed meeting earlier this week, and took it that the Fed are going to be done with raising rates. That's it, they're finished. And consequently, we saw a collapse in bond yields, 30-year now back well below 5%, 483, and stock market went parabolic once people had digested the information. We're going to focus on now next week, coming towards the end of earnings season. One of the ones that I wanted to look at is Walt Disney, the House of Mouse. A lot of analysts liking the stock with some very high upside targets, which I'm not too sure about, which I'll discuss in a second. But okay, going for an upside target from where we are now, it could conceivably have a challenge to the 112 area, which was a previous line of support. Fairly bullish if that's the case, and it could get dragged up with the rest of the market and with good earnings and maybe a positive Marvels showing, which we'll have to wait and see, that it could quite conceivably get back up there. I want to give it a bit of time. I don't, it's not a immediate hunt. So I went from March 24 expiration and I asked Big Boy what were the best trades to do. And it came up with some very plain old vanilla stuff, and it suggested the 105 call. Just buy those. It's cheap. $1.18 for that call. Going out that far, I think, is a worthwhile punt. You could buy 84 of those for your $1,000. As you can see here, it will monetize very quickly if we do rally early, and even if it grinds higher. A lot of green there, so that's good. And yeah, the only other one, if you're not wanting to pay out $1.18, was it's a little bit less, $1.40 for the 105.15 call spread. That was the one that Big Boy actually liked the most, and you'd be paying only 77 cents for that. As you can see here again, less of an outlay, so it's a good trade, and it's also in its 22nd percentile. Looking back historically, that kind of like equivalent out the money option. So, if you want to have a swing for the fences, just buy the 105 call if you don't mind the premium outlay. If you want less of an outlay, don't want to risk too much, 77 cents to buy the 105 115 call spread is a good upside trade. However, going back to my previous point, Marvel not looking the strongest, are they? I'm not sure. All the stuff that has been coming out this week as positive news for Disney, when they're talking about a complete overall structuring or bringing back the old Avengers, then things sound like they're not going well. This phase has not been the best, and so it is possible that it could, carry on going down. We are actually on multi-year lows already, but if you're still bearish, and I look back to 2011ish and kind of like the most likely downside target I can see, if the numbers correspond with the kind of news we've seen this week, is around the 64 buck area. And so the trade that Big Boy liked, or that I like out of this, it wasn't necessarily his favourite, it wasn't the top trade, but it's in the top 4 that he picked. But I like this one. It's a put condor. It's a 50, 55, 60, 65, 70 put condor. Again, monetizes pretty quick if we go down on the back of bad numbers. But you've got a fairly good landing area. It's in the middle of the road historically as to where it's been. But, I think that's an okay trade if you want to play the downside. And looking at the skews, it's probably the way the market seems to be implying anyway. Next up, Bitcoin. You may or may not have seen that rally to the moon this week. I guess Bitcoin has become a bit of a safe haven alternative to gold. But anyway, we are back in the mid-30s. Given this run, I could see it maybe continuing up to the 50,000 area. I want to give myself a bit of time. I want to see a rally into the year end to get to that target. So if that's the case, I'm looking at January expiration, and the trade that Big Boy liked was the that I picked out of its top 5 was the 47,000, 48,000 call spread. This monetizes really quickly and is a great risk reward trade. You're losing the premium you lay out. The price, although it seems high, remember all Big Boy calculations are done based on $1,000 of investment. So you're looking at an entry price of kind of $113.78. You just buy 18 contracts. The point is the percentage return on your investment. And there, if it's right, if it rallies to your target, you're looking at a 572% return, which is obviously not bad. Finally, we're going to have a look at the stock market, which bounced off its kind of like last line of support. It was really looking weak. It would not have done well if rates were to continue to rise, but they did not. We bounced, and we bounced pretty hard, and so we're in a downward channel still, but if we break out to the upside, we will probably have another challenge at the highs. So what I wanted to do here was target days out, kind of like looking at the December expiration. Are there any good trades to do? Yes. I went with a very top trade here, 489% return in 40 days if you buy the 45.70, 45.90 call spread. Again, monetizes very quickly. May have missed the early boat there, but go with the trend if that's what you like. It's in its 6th percentile, which means it's pretty low. And so just because the wings are trading higher than the next strike down, so because the smaller delta options are so high, the call spreads are relatively cheap, and you should take advantage of that by buying the call spreads if you like that upside play. So just recapping, for the stocks, we like the 45.70, 45.90 call spread, getting that in and that at $1.60, 125 times. For Bitcoin, the 47,000, 48,000 call spread, paying 113.78 on 18 contracts. And then Disney, if you like the upside, just buy the 105 calls, paying $1.18. If you don't want to pay as much premium, pay 77 cents to buy the 105, 115 call spread. And if you don't like Disney and you think they're all going to go to hell, then buy a put condor for March expiration of next year, paying 77 cents per 128 of those, and you'll be laughing all the way back. Anyway, that's all from me. Have a great weekend, everyone, and good luck trading.